Welcome to another episode of our Family Business Podcast, where we are talking all things family and business, because family is everybody's business. And today I get the joy and the privilege to talk with my daughter, Stephanie Alessi Muina.
Hello.
Yes, and this is the first time you and I are doing the podcast
Finally.
together.
Took a little bit of time, didn't it?
Yeah, a little guilt thrown in there too. I got a text from you. Hey, Dad, have we done a podcast together, just you and I?
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, you and Mom did it. And you said, what about you and I?
Uh-huh.
So that was your way of letting me know you were ready
Oh, yes.
to have a podcast to discuss some very interesting things. And I'm glad we're doing this, because what we get to do in the podcast room here is talk about things we can't talk about on Sunday, either because of time or just the sensitivity of the subject matter.
From the platform and everything. Totally.
And so just to give them a little introduction about you.
Yes.
Tell us a little about you.
Sure. So I am your second daughter. And
My second daughter?
I'm your second child. Sometimes I'm your second daughter. No, I am your second child. I am right between Chris and Lolo.
Mm-hmm.
I am the worship director assistant at church.
Mm-hmm.
I help with all of the songs on Sunday mornings. And I guess the most interesting thing about me right now is I just got married.
Yep.
About literally 2 days over a month ago, I got married to Christopher Muina.
Yep.
And I now have his last name,
Yes,
Stephanie
you do.
Muina.
And I'm glad you kept Alessi in there.
Yeah, me too.
Aren't you going to have a daughter? What are you going to call her? Alessi?
No, that's an idea.
That's
It's an
a great idea.
I know. It is an idea.
Got to keep the name alive.
I know.
Every day.
I know. Well, it is.
Wow.
I do have it in my name. It's on my Instagram handle, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
That's official.
Okay, so what people don't know, not everybody, is one, your husband painted your nails. And I can tell right now as I'm looking across the desk, he did paint
That
your
was
nails.
just for the family chat. Thank you so much, Dad, for revealing that to everybody.
Yeah, and she thought
Yes.
because he knows how to paint,
He's a really good artist.
he can paint nails.
And he did. He did a
On
great
a scale of 1
job.
to 10, I'd say that's about a 6. So
I
not
did the bad hand. He
Oh,
did the
you
good
did?
hand. Yes,
Okay.
he did
So he
good.
bailed you out. Okay, something else they may not all understand or remember is, know about you, that is you're the most in the family like your dad.
Yes, I am. I am.
Boom,
I
fist
am.
pump.
I
Yeah,
am.
you are.
Too much alike.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me tell you why I know that.
How?
Because you and John Roman, who's there behind the glass.
I am here.
Yes, you have a similar working relationship with him as you do with me. No, as I do with him.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Because all three of us are alike.
Are exactly alike.
We're not all like Alan Paul, who's behind the glass, who's kind, sweet, caring like your mother,
Yes.
Or
I can be friends with
Ashley.
anybody.
who's just fun-loving and does whatever she's asked to do.
I know.
No, we're not as privileged to be like them.
No, we've been cursed.
We have to keep some of them around, though.
Yes, we do. We need
to make
them.
things fun.
It's true. It's
That's true. They may not realize that you are a songwriter
Yes.
and not just somebody who does it in their bedroom, but as a profession,
Yes.
you're signed with
Integrity.
right now to be one of their songwriters. They're working with you. And that's part of your profession, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love doing it. We now have one EP release from Metro Life Worship, but outside of all the Metro Life Worship stuff, I'm going to be releasing my own music very soon, within like 2 months. So that's going to definitely open up a huge door.
Yep.
But really what it'll do is it'll show everybody what I've been working on for over a year now with Integrity over there in Nashville. So
Even during COVID shutdown, you were in your closet recording, writing.
yeah, I would do Zoom writes every single week, probably 2 to 3 times a week.
Yep.
over my computer. And then once we would finish a song, I would have to record it in my closet because I don't have any equipment.
Yep.
I don't know how to record things on my computer and edit them. So I just did it all on my phone and it was great. It was perfect quality.
Yeah, it was, surprisingly.
it was fun.
It sounded great. So you write songs, but you do it as part of your profession.
Yes.
You do lead our worship team pretty much. You work alongside of Mom.
Yes.
And you also work alongside of Alan Paul, who handles all of the musicians.
The nice ones.
Yes. And so you're really an integral part of the team. You graduated from FIU.
Yep.
So you did get your education, which I'm super proud of you for.
Yes.
And you went away for a season. You went to an internship. Tell us about that.
So I went to Houston, Texas, and I interned for Joel Osteen's church, Lakewood Church, for about a year.
Yep.
And it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. I think everything that I know about admin work for a worship team and for production, everything that I know so far, I learned most of it there at Lakewood.
Yeah.
Because they have no excuses, there's no like playing around. You show up and you act professional, but you also do it in a church environment.
Yeah.
So they really helped me learn that balance, which I brought all back here. But it was such a cool experience to be in that huge church and just be in the environment of what Joel and Victoria, what they put together. It was just such a really, really cool experience that I loved it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And the reason you went there was not because it is the largest church in America.
Yeah.
No, that's not because Joel Osteen is America's pastor.
No.
But because of relationship.
Yeah.
We have been a part, Mom and I, and our church has been a part of what is called the Champions Network.
Yep.
Where we support what Joel Osteen and his, at the time he used to do the Night of Hopes, what they do on a monthly basis. And then once a year, we'd fly out and be a part of one of the big Night of Hopes and pray.
Yeah.
And we've had relationship.
And Phil Muncie was
Phil
there.
Muncie and Jeannie, they are a part of that, actually headed up. So when we were talking about it, we heard about their internship program. And we thought, wow, what better place for you to be able to go and intern.
Yeah.
Not only because it is the biggest church in America and they do things very professional, but because we were in relationship with them.
Exactly.
And we knew who they were. We knew who would be keeping an eye on you. We went and told them.
He really did.
They needed to keep an eye on you. And Mom's dear friend that she's recorded with was Cindy Cruz Ratcliffe with When Women Worship.
Great House.
Deidre, Great House. And then Ingrid Rosario, all a part of the team there that Mom had already recorded music with. We knew their husbands and their people. So it was a perfect place for you to go. And the Lord favored you there because you were able to actually use your gifts on the platform to sing and be a part of it. And that was a beautiful year of your life.
I loved it. It was such a cool experience. And what I loved the most was there are people that have been around in that church for decades. Like Deidre, Cindy, they've been there for 20 plus years, which I related to because we have those same kind of people here at Metro. And I saw my life going down that same path with my church. So I thought, what better place to learn how to operate in a church environment professionally, but with loyalty as a huge reason for why they serve there at that church. I really loved that component too, because they had so much respect for what the relationship they had with their pastor there, more than the platform they were given. And I loved learning that. I loved it.
Well, it lines up with our core values of relationship. We didn't want you to just go to any internship program because they have a ton out there where young people can go, especially if they want to be in the ministry. There's a ton out there where young people can go. But we knew these people were in relationship with these people. Joel Osteen has called and congratulated us. He's got my cell number. I have his cell number. Very sweet,
Genuine
relationally. He even changed your car tire one time.
He did. I don't know. Houston has the worst streets in the world. I thought it was bad here. It's terrible. And one of my car tires popped, and he replaced it for me.
That's America's pastor.
That's America's
Went
pastor.
out and changed your car tire.
Yeah. The kindest, most genuine people in the world, truly.
Okay. Why were you at his house? No, don't answer that.
Don't even. We can't include that in here. You can't include that in here, Dad. You really, please cut that out. I am begging you. Please
You and
cut
his
that out.
daughter were so close.
Stop! You
They
need to
were
cancel this.
precious
We're
people.
canceling this. We're not putting this in the podcast.
Which
We
I'm
don't
begging
believe
you.
in,
I'm so
in
proud
canceling
of you
anything.
for-
Jonathan? What?
Yes. We're not a cancel culture kind of church.
Yes, we are. Right now, yes, we are.
Yes.
But we
so,
are forgivers of past sins.
that's not the. You're telling on yourself here, little lady. Yes.
Stop.
Well, it was very nice of America's Pastor to
Yes.
change your car tire.
Yes.
So all of that was such a great learning experience
It was.
for you and for us to see you go out and have such a wonderful exposure.
It was great.
And Steph, our prayers over the years, of course, is that God would elevate or raise up and favor all of our kids.
Yeah.
And we don't have to go and put in a good word for that to happen. Though people were keeping an eye on you, let
Yeah.
me tell you, you didn't get elevated there because of dad and mom.
No.
It may have been an open door
Yeah.
that got you in, but you had to walk through that door.
I did.
And your heart, your understanding of worship, your submission to leadership and authority, all of that, and your gifting
Yeah.
and anointing opened the door for you to have the beautiful experience. And I remember one night you were leading worship. It was a midweek service, and we had a midweek service, and we put it up on the screen.
You did
We
here
did
at the
here
church?
at the church.
Oh,
It was great. We were following
gosh.
along live because
I didn't
everybody
even
was
know
so
that.
proud of you. And
I loved it.
Then we traveled to visit a couple of your Night of Hopes
Yeah.
where you led on the stage with the team. So
It was crazy.
great seasons of ministry and of life.
And I'll say, I think what was so cool, just knowing we're going to be talking about ministry kids and pastors' kids in this conversation, what I really loved about that whole experience, and I would encourage any PK to do, go to a church that you have to serve. It's not a get on the platform quick strategy, but you're just going to be another person serving in the
Good.
ministry
Mhm.
because, man, it brought such a new perspective to me.
Yeah.
That when I came home, I had so much grace for the interns here, the kids serving here, but I also had hey, I did it. You could do it too. We all have had to put in good work to be behind the scenes where nobody's thanking us, nobody's giving us affirmation, but you go anyways because you love it.
Yeah.
It was the best experience. And knowing, this is the trick though, knowing you're going to go away to come back, to come back to your church
Yeah.
and to help your parents and to serve. I would recommend it for anybody.
And you knew that. You
Yeah.
knew, though, you were going out there, you knew it was temporary,
Yeah,
and you really do have a heart for Metro
here.
and for Miami.
I really do.
And you more or less let that be known from the beginning. It was going to be a good learning experience. You were going to have fun,
Yeah,
but you were going to learn. And then everything you did learn, you wanted to bring back to Metro. And what's good about that, Steph, is some people just don't understand that when it's your family business, and ministry is our business,
yeah,
when it's that, the heart of everybody in the family, it's the desire of the senior leader that all the junior leaders coming up, the next generation,
yeah.
will have a heart for the ministry. And
true.
the worst thing is having to convince your kid, the next generation, that no, you belong here.
It's hard.
That's not easy.
That's got to be your own. But no, it's not even your own calling. I think there's a discipline to that because that's a virtue that you have to learn. Loyalty and staying loyal to the ministry you've been given. Our generation thinks oh, wow, I got lucky staying here for 20 plus years. But they don't realize that somebody that stayed at a church for 20 plus years has probably been tempted to leave 10 times and more.
Mhm.
But they chose the virtue of loyalty, which I think Proverbs even talks about that. And I did have the opportunity to move away and
Mhm.
be on a massive platform
Yep.
where I could have, who knows what could have happened. I had a pretty good setup over there, but I would have completely lost that virtue of loyalty. And the home that I've put my entire life into, that trusts in me, that would have given me grace on the platform to test out my songs, to test out the church's songs, I would have thrown that away. So it wasn't like my heart was calling me back. It wasn't an emotional thing like that. I made the choice to come home and to serve under my parents, even though there were times where it was tough because it was like, gosh, this is the glitter of all of that looked so nice. I knew that 10 years down the line, staying in Miami, oh my gosh, I would have never, ever regretted that decision. So that loyalty is a choice. It's not just something lucky you walk into. It really is something you have to discipline yourself to do.
And, we always felt like, okay, when you went away, Lauren went away, people in the church financially supported you on that journey.
Yeah.
And they gave to help you not have to carry on a job, because at first we were thinking you're going to have to get out there and work a little bit part-time or something, and you don't get paid when you're going through the internship program. But good-hearted people that some of them knew you before you were even born, man. They knew the day you came into this world. They supported you. They gave you financial support along the way. And Steph, what a blessing to know.
I know.
That the harvest of their seeds that were being sown into you, they're able to experience.
Yes.
That's where I wish some people would just get it.
I know.
That if someone supports you along the way, even your parents,
yes,
they don't just financially scatter seed to the wind and hope that it'll land somewhere and wow, they can see it from afar. I'd much rather go out in my backyard, sow that seed right there so that then when the harvest comes up, I'm able to personally benefit from it. And we always felt like the best move and step for you was when you did go out, the people of the church should be able to enjoy what they sowed into when you come back.
You're 100% right. I even had a friend who came to the same decision as me, where she was gone for a couple years to a new church, intern there, but she had a family leading a ministry back at home. And she came to the same exact fork in the road, and where she could continue working at this new church away from home. And she would have been blessed tremendously. But I told her, I remember saying, because I had just walked through my own season of this, I was like, okay, imagine the day you're giving birth to your first baby.
Wow.
Who do you want in the hospital with you? Because you'll have people there. If you move to the new church, you may have people there. But if you go home, you'll have people that have known you your entire life there at the hospital with you. So make that life decision on people. Make the bet on people. Because I met some amazing people out there in Houston. I'm still friends with them. They are incredible. But I had lifelong relationships here.
Yeah.
And you don't want to throw that away.
Yeah.
You can't. Because when I'm having my first baby, when at my wedding, I saw it at my wedding.
Yeah.
When my kids are going to college, I'm going to have those people that have known me since I was a kid. They're celebrating with me, sowing into me. I'll be sowing into them. I'll see their kids getting raised. So I think when you come to those fork in the roads, choose people over the platform you could be given. Really.
That's really good. I remember a family in our church years ago, Manny and Laura Paula. They just, this is back when we were at Grace, when I was working for Pops. And I was the assistant, and me and Manny and Mary and Laura, we built a beautiful relationship. They had 3 kids at the time, actually 4 kids, which was one of the reasons why we have 4 kids to this day. But they just got established in the church. I'm talking a year, maybe 2 years, just got established in the church. And Manny worked for an insurance company, and he got a call for them he was going to get a promotion. He was offered a promotion in Atlanta. And he came and he says, "Man, I got this promotion." Now, his life had been so touched by God, but also the house of God here in Miami, that when he said that, I heard God say that's not a good move for him.
Yeah.
It may be good financially, but for his family, he's pulling up roots already.
Totally.
That just started to go into the soil.
Man.
And so what he was saying was, there's opportunity out there, but what's more important in the long run, is it going to be the pursuit of money? I don't think so. We choose the pursuit of people, of relationship.
Yep.
And we are very careful. Now, I understand some people, life takes them outside of their home base.
And sometimes
I got it.
It works.
It really does.
Yes.
And God bless them. And they always have good relationships at home. And they get new relationships at afar. I understand that works for some people. We have a priority where people are first. Maybe it's our calling.
Yeah.
Because we are local church pastors.
Yeah.
We have a heart for the people to say, all right, like Jesus, I've come for this group of people. It says in the Bible, he says, I come for the lost sheep of Israel. He knew who he was called to.
He was called to.
We know who we're called to. And so because of that, we are willing to say, people will always be our priority.
Totally.
The imperfect people
of Miami, Florida. They need help.
They will always be our priority. So you went out. It was a great experience for you, which I think young people should consider.
Yeah.
When the doors are open, go somewhere that's going to expand your vision for your life and your gifting.
Yep.
But never let that disconnect you from the home base.
Yeah.
And especially if there's a local church or you're connected, you've been raised in a business environment that mom and dad have built. And because this happens in the business world all the time.
It does.
Mom and dad have built something. Dad's building a great business. And then the son comes up and wants to go to a Ivy League school. And when he gets out to the Ivy League school, or the daughter, they want to use their gifts in different areas instead of going back and seeding into the family business. But what I've heard, Steph, is many people that have done that have gone out, whose parents have a local business.
Yeah.
Many of them have gone out, they spread their wings, they've tried to fly, but they've realized later on that, you know what, the real gig is back home.
Yeah.
And so they've walked away from opportunities to then go back to the family business to help there because there's something called legacy.
It's a big deal.
That they find as you age on, as you grow older and older, legacy starts to mean something to you.
It does.
And you came back because you wanted to be a part of legacy.
And 2 points to that. I remember when I was away, people would always tell me, well, home will always be there. Home, and that sounded great. That actually sounded correct. Like, yeah, home will always be there. I guess I can go out into the world and pursue whatever it is I want to pursue, and I can just come back home. I was gone for 1 month during my honeymoon. 1 month. I missed a conference meeting. We're having a conference. We're having a marriage conference. I missed a new strategy they were implementing into the staff. Sure, home will always be there, but home is changing. Home is moving forward.
It is.
It's moving forward. The ministry, the church, they've got new ideas. They're not going to stop. If everybody leaves, they're still pushing forward. And the question is, do you want to be a part of it or not? Because they're going to keep pressing on into our city, and Metro Life Church is always going to be blessed with or without me.
Right.
And the question for me was, do I want to be a part of that? Do I want to be a part of the farmers of Metro Life Church going out and putting a seed into the city of Miami?
Yeah.
And it showed me, I went to the bank last week with my husband, and we're sitting there trying to handle our finances. And the lady looks at my ID, which had my Alessi on it. And she said, "Oh my gosh, are you Pastor Alessi's daughter?" And I'm thinking she's talking about you.
Yeah.
So I went, "Oh, yeah, Steve Alessi." And she goes, "Oh my God, everybody loves him here. He's so friendly." And I was like, "That's not right." Wait, who are you talking about? John Alessi? And she was like, "Yes, John Alessi. He has 2 daughters and a son." And I'm like, "No, that's my grandfather." So to know that a bank knew my grandfather, that just showed you the fruit of harvesting into a city that will remember your name, remember your contribution to the city for generations.
Yeah.
And it just showed me, heck yeah, I want to be a part of that. Are you kidding me? I want to know what they're doing to move forward. And I would, home will always be there, but I want to be a part of it when it's moving forward.
hmm And the beautiful thing about that commitment, the Lord saw your heart,
Yeah.
was that God brought your husband right through the church doors.
Yeah, he did. Crazy.
Yeah, Mom and I used to say that because it was the same thing. When I went to college and graduated in 1984, long, long time ago, I had a choice of either interning after my last year of college. They gave me a year to intern in the ministry. So I had a chance to either go to Orlando because I was working with Benny Hinn at the time. I was a catcher. No, I was
Jeez.
actually singing
yeah.
on his team of all things. And then, or I could have stayed in Lakeland at a little tiny church there that I loved. The people were so kind. It was actually the place I preached my first sermon.
Wow.
Highlands Assembly of God, Highland City Assembly of God. I had a choice there, or I had a choice to come back home. And Steph, I wanted to come home.
Yeah.
I even had a relationship with somebody that I thought could be a potential wife candidate.
Yeah.
But it became a matter of, okay, if I stay in town and I intern locally, I could have this relationship. Things could move down the field like I thought they should, like I felt they should. But then on the other side of it, I had this place in my heart for coming home.
Home. Yeah.
Now, their requirements or policy was that you could go and intern at your home church, but it cannot be your parents,
Oh,
the
weird.
pastors of the home church.
Jeez.
So they didn't want you to go back and be given a free ride. You could go back and intern at your home church, but it had to be with a different pastor.
Different pastor.
So I went in and I said, listen, I want to go back to my home church. They said, great, who's the pastors? And when I mentioned Papa and Grandmommy's name, they're like, but you can't do that. I said, is there any way we can get an exception to this policy?
Yeah.
What can you do? Well, they sat on it for like 2 weeks and then they contacted me and gave me the permission,
Wow.
made an exception to the rule for me to be able to come back and intern. And it meant leaving some things
Back
that
in.
I had there, but I wanted what God wanted, and I felt like it was back home.
Yeah.
And I knew my seed was to be planted back in the city that I was raised in. So sometimes there's people that have a calling or a desire to work locally because that's where they were raised and they want to have an impact there. And in our line of work, that's what happened with you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Other people say, no, I've got something I think is bigger than where I came from.
Yeah, which is a true.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
Jesus, even though he came to certain people, it also says that his own people, his own hometown, didn't always recognize who he was. So
True.
I got that. We just happened to go the path. It was a choice that was made to move towards being local, here working together. You gave up a great opportunity there in Houston
Yeah.
to come and be a part of Metro.
Yeah.
And when I later on in life was working with my mom and dad, it was Mary that came right through the doors of the church.
Crazy.
And we ended up, of course, getting married.
Crazy.
And she and I would always say to other couples, hey guys, you just stay faithful to the house of God.
Yeah.
Stay faithful right here
Yeah.
because God will bring your spouse through the doors of the church. You know how many times we have gone back and second guessed that?
Yeah, I know.
Mom and I would sit back and say, well, maybe that wouldn't be the case. We used to worry, maybe they need to go abroad and find somebody. Maybe they need to go to online dating.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
We never had to do that.
you're right. And even-
Christopher's wife came right through the front doors of the church. Your husband right through the
Right through
front
the
doors
doors.
of the church. So there's something to be said about staying faithful at the local level.
Yep.
With parents that have come alongside of you or raised you, and with people that have sowed into you and poured into you. There's something to be said about all of that. And I hope today your story
Yeah.
has been encouraging to other young women that are out there, young men that are trying to say, what do I do?
Yeah.
Where am I at? And if that's somebody listening, what would you want to say to them?
Somebody who's dealing with like a promotion.
Yeah, where
And-
am I at? How do I find my footing right now? Where do you think God's leading me? What should I do with my life?
Oh my goodness. I think that you need to invest in the people around you, just right off the top of my head. I've really seen in the past 5 years of my life what's brought me the most healing and what's brought me the most maturity and wisdom. It's been people. I've had some incredible experiences. I went to Israel for free, that changed my life. I graduated from college.
That story in itself, Israel,
It's
you guys
such
go.
a cool, I know.
Oh my God.
That alone is a podcast.
Yes.
I met my husband. He lived 10 minutes down the street from me the whole time, lived in Miami, wants to live in Miami. I've had some really cool things happen to me in the past 5 years, and it's all happened because of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that if you are confused as to what you want to do with your future, work hard, find something that you like to do, but put in the due diligence, but invest into people,
Mm-hmm.
good soil people.
Yeah.
Don't just choose anybody, and find your wise counselors. Get close to your parents if they're really wise and Christians. Get close to your grandparents. Invest into your family. Find some good friends that you know are going to give you a fun future, but a wise future, and invest into them. And just take them out to coffee. Be generous. Grow your generosity.
Yeah.
Because you never know what can come. When I started to pursue the Jewish club at FIU, because I just fell in love with the Jewish community,
Yep.
I created relationships. And those relationships gave me the chance to go to Israel for 3 weeks by myself, completely paid off. And because of that trip to Israel, I created a love and a calling for Israel and for the Jewish people, which has opened up doors back in Miami. But it all happened because of relationships.
Mm.
And I was patient. And no, I had no idea what the Lord was doing there, what the heck that meant. But now that I'm home, it opened up a door. It opened up opportunities.
Yeah.
And I started to get into relationships with people in Nashville,
Yep.
which opened up a door to a deal with them.
Yep.
So I think you need to invest into your relationships. Do not get bogged down. Don't get lazy. Don't get worried or anxious that you're not going down the right path. Build relationships, stick to those relationships, invest into them,
Yep.
and work hard.
And I wish we had time to talk about how we navigated through all of that.
Yeah.
Because even that Houston deal,
Yeah.
it took the voice of a parent,
Yeah.
I won't say which one, to help you realize that
Ay, ay, ay.
Miami was where you needed to be.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
It wasn't just left up to your own decision.
No. But Lauren dealt, she explained her problem. So I feel like she kind of explained my problem too. She handled it for both of us.
I wish parents would navigate their kids better on those kind of things, because the parent has
Yeah, I
already
know.
gone down the path and knows what's going to serve them best. So we didn't just leave it up to you.
Yeah.
We helped navigate you, but you made such wise decisions and choices along the way, which has just been a tremendous blessing. And we're so proud of you. We're proud of Chris Muina and what he brings to the table. And we're excited about a future podcast for people to get to know who he is and hear from him. Good guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're right about one thing. When he did come up and ask me about dating you, which was an awkward moment for him, and all the family and friends were sitting in the
Yes.
living room watching out the
Yes.
window. I did ask him on the front end, do you plan on ever leaving Miami?
Yeah.
And he said no.
No, he didn't.
No, he wants to keep her here. So that was a big deal for us. That could have been a deal breaker,
I know. It really,
because we
And-
feel called to the local level right here.
same for him. He knew he wanted
Yep.
a girl that was a Miami girl.
I'm going long, but let me ask you this question. Who's it easier to work with, mom or me?
That's so mean. You.
Thank you very much. Now you see why she's my favorite child.
You. 100%.
Stephanie has been on the mic with Steven today, and hope you've enjoyed our podcast.